is the 29th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA.
It was a really big deal. The landmark legislation requires more inclusive workplaces as well as accessible public places and infrastructure. Earlier today, I was able to interview the CEO of Northwest Center, and he explained how the Americans with Disabilities Act has transformed lives here in Washington and what it means to him personally. We are happy to be joined in studio by Boes, CEO of Northwest Center. It's a Seattle-based organization that supports adults and children with physical and intellectual disabilities. Thank you so much for being here. You know, the ADA was really a breakthrough for people with disabilities. For those who aren't familiar, what did it do?
Well, ADA allowed people with disabilities to not be discriminated against, similar to legislation that allowed race and gender and national origin to not be discriminatory factors.
You know, for you, this work that you're doing, it's personal. You have a 26-year-old daughter named Tori, right?
Yes.
And she's on the autism spectrum. What do you want people out there to know about raising a child with some challenges?
I think the biggest thing is that the world's deck is stacked against people with disabilities. So to find the services is extremely challenging for all parents, but then just finding the opportunities to engage and contribute. I think everyone with a disability wants to be a contributing citizen, just like the rest of us. So that's the challenge, is finding those doors that are willing to be open for us.
It's interesting you say that, and my eyes were opened when our son was born. I have a 9-year-old son who's in a wheelchair. He's nonverbal, and you don't see it until you have somebody potentially in your sphere, in your circle, who has a disability. What are you guys working to create accessibility and make life better for those with disabilities?
So quickly, Northwest Center works from cradle through career. So we have early intervention, early learning, employment services. We also have 7 commercial businesses where we employ people of all abilities. For us, I would roll it up to this. We're working for a society that's more inclusive. So we want to make sure that everyone's allowed to engage and contribute, because my stand is that until that happens, none of us will reach our potential.
And you're talking about being more inclusive, and I know there's a big push out there for more inclusion in the workplace, and everybody who has a job realizes the sense of purpose we get out of working. What are you guys doing in that area? How do we get more people with disabilities into the workplace so we really are an inclusive society?
Well, we work with 1,000 employers across the state of Washington. We have an amazing partnership with Amazon. The focus is really showing employers why inclusion is better for them. It's not as much, we're not about fixing people with disabilities. They aren't broken. They have ability. It's about teaching employers why it's so important for them to be inclusive, because it solves real business problems.
And when employers do hire someone with a disability, it's amazing the benefits that they see out of it.
Right, and that's part of the great story we have in our partnership with Amazon. We came into their sortation facilities, for an example, to solve retention, absenteeism, quality, safety, and productivity. Those are 5 very real business problems that every employer struggles with. And we were able to knock it out of the park for them, because they're now employing people of all abilities.
Yeah.
It's not focused on disability.
It's about access for all. Real fast, we only have 10 seconds. If you see a space, a public space, a private business that isn't ADA compliant, what are you supposed to do?
A great question. I think the thing that I would do would be ask them why they aren't taking advantage of being more inclusive.
Join the party.
Yeah.
The party's better if there's more in the tent, right?
That's right.
Boes, you're doing the important work. Thank you for serving those with disabilities. Thanks for being here.